Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle three tiny little words in English that cause some of the biggest headaches: in, on, and at. When it comes to time, these prepositions can feel totally random. But trust me, by the end of this, you'll be using them like you've known how your whole life. So let's just jump right in with the question that probably brought you here.
Okay, this is the big one, isn't it? It trips up just about everyone. Why do we say in the morning and in the afternoon, but then out of nowhere it switches to at night? It feels like there's no rule at all, but I promise there is a simple logic to it, and we're going to unlock it together right now. So here's the secret. I want you to picture time as a funnel. Yeah, a funnel. We start at the top, where it's really wide. That's for the big, general periods of time. Then, as we move down, the funnel gets narrower, a little more specific, maybe down to a single day. And then, right at the very bottom, we hit the bullseye, a precise, exact moment. Each of these levels, the big picture, the surface, and the bullseye, lines up perfectly with in, on, and at. Okay, let's start at the top of that funnel with our first preposition, in. Just think of in as being for the biggest, most general containers of time. It's like you're putting something inside a really large box where it has lots of room to move around. The rule here is actually pretty simple. If you're talking about a broad period of time, something that isn't a specific day or an exact time on the clock, you're probably gonna need in. We're talking years, seasons, months, all those large containers of time. And here's some perfect examples. We use in for years, right? Like in 1985. For seasons, like in summer. For months, like in January. And hey, this answers our first question. We say in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening because we think of them as these big, general chunks of the day. It also works for durations, like I'll be there in 2 days. See, it's all about those big containers. All right, let's move a little farther down our time funnel. Things are starting to get more specific now. We're moving from that big container, like a whole month, to pinpointing a single specific day. And for this job, we need on. The best way to think about this is to imagine a calendar. When you pick out a specific day, you're basically putting your finger on that little square, right? That's the whole idea here. On is what we use when we land on the surface of one particular day. So naturally, you'll use on for any day of the week, like on Monday, for a specific date, like on the 25th of October, and for special days that fall on a single date, like on my birthday. You see how we've narrowed our focus? We've gone from a whole month down to just one 24-hour period. And here we are. We've arrived at the very bottom of our funnel, the bullseye. This is for when we need to be absolutely, totally precise. This is the job for our final preposition, at. The key word for AT is preciseness. We use AT for exact moments. We're not talking about a long period or even a whole day anymore. We're talking about hitting a very specific target on the timeline, like a time on a clock. And here it is, the solution to our puzzle. We use at for specific clock times, like at 7 o'clock a.m., for mealtimes, like at lunchtime, and for other precise moments, like at sunrise. And this is exactly why we say at night. Unlike the morning, English treats night as a specific point in time, just like at midnight or at noon. It's not a big container, it's a bullseye. Now here's a little tricky spot, but our funnel logic still works perfectly. If someone says, I'll see you at Christmas, they're talking about the general holiday season, that bigger container of time. But if they say, I'll see you on Christmas Day, they are pinpointing that one specific date, December 25th. So at for the whole holiday period, on for the single day. Makes sense, right? So far, we've really been focused on single points or containers of time. But what if you want to talk about a whole stretch of time with a clear beginning and end? Well, for that, we've got a great team. From, to. This one is really straightforward, which is nice. You just state the starting point and then the ending point. For example, I go to school from Monday to Friday. It just perfectly marks the beginning and the end of that specific period. Okay, so let's bring it all back to our time funnel one last time, just to lock it in. Remember, think big and use in for those general containers like years and months. When you're talking about a specific day or date, you land on it. And when you need to be exact, you hit that bullseye with at. Big container, specific surface, precise point. The logic is actually pretty simple once you can picture it, right? So next time you're about to write an email or make some plans, just think about that funnel for a second. Are you talking about a big container,
a specific surface, or a precise point. You've totally got the tools now, so how are you going to use them?